Hello, welcome to Web of Stories. My name is Melinda. I usually start this video about taking a sip of my coffee, but it's like noon-ish. But anyway, I'm here for my weekly wrap-up, and we're in March. I'm always happy for February to go because March feels like things are finally going to get better. That being said, it was snowing here today, so it snowed. It stuck just a little bit, and then it melted. So whatever. But it was cold enough for my daughter to actually put a hoodie on to go to school both yesterday and today. My son still hasn't, but my daughter has. If any of you have teenagers, you know, their internal temperature is different, different than other living beings. So yeah. Let's see what has been going on this week. Nothing much. I'm seeing the end of the light with the octafinal booktube prize reading. I have like one day's worth of reading left for my 5th book, and I have already started my 6th book. As I don't know if I've said this before because I'm doing vlogs, so I can't remember if I've said them in videos or in vlogs, but I realized the reason I felt a little crunched this time is because you have until March 30th to turn in your rankings, but I'm gonna be gone. So I actually have until like March, I don't know, 23rd or something. So that's a little bit of a crunch, but it's all under control. It's all good. And I don't even think I'm going to have to do audio for that last book. I was a little afraid that I wouldn't be able to finish it before it was due at the library, but it doesn't look like that's going to be an issue. So yay. What else? Tomorrow I have my book club, and I'll talk about that book in a second. So my library book club. And then, yeah. Next Friday, I'm going to go see another high school production. This time it's Once Upon a Mattress with I'm taking my son this time because he won't admit it, but he likes musicals. But my daughter's friends are in it. So I remembered to buy tickets yesterday. They've been telling you all year to buy tickets, and I just remembered yesterday to buy them. So we are going to go see that. I did not have a weekend Wednesdays with Will this week because I have not yet finished watching the adaptation I found of The Merry Wives of Windsor. I found a really good one on Broadway HD. It's done by the Canadian Festival. I want to say Stafford. That doesn't sound right. I should know. But it's gone from the top of my head. And it's a really great introduction. It's a really great adaptation of the way it's set in the 50s. It's really cool. But as I have said before, I live in a family of 4 in a house with 2 TVs. And so I have to fight for TV time. And I just, it's been hard to find time. About halfway through it, but I will finish it probably this weekend. So I will have my thoughts on that one this coming Wednesday. And then the following Wednesday, I will do my draw for our April book, which is not really a draw, but I'll explain that. So let me get to the books. I finished 3 books this week, and I can tell you about all of them. So that's the first in a while. The first one I did finish was for my library book club, and that was Braiding Sweetgrass. As you can see, I liked it. Everything I've heard about this book is true. This is a great book to read. I loved it. Even if you aren't like, my apprehension going into this was it would be a little sciencey for me because Robin Wall Kimmerer is a scientist. Is she a botanist? She's a distinguished trained teaching professor of environmental biology, so she's a biologist. So I was really worried that it would be too sciencey for me, and it isn't. I mean, if you talk about she balancing the indigenous viewpoint and the scientific viewpoint, she brings them together really well. But the scientific, it's probably more indigenous than scientific, which makes sense if you read the book why that would be. But really, really enjoyed this. I will be listening to it on audio at some point in the not too distant future just because I just loved it so much. And all of these represent a quote that have to go in my quote journal, which still have to do that. The next book I finished was a reread and also by an indigenous author. And this is The Beadworkers by Beth Piatote. I guess it's Piatote, not Piatote. Sarah at Roadworthy and I are going to be doing a discussion of this next week. And I think we're going to try and film it and then share it on our videos. We'll see on our channels. This is a 5-star book, but it is a personal 5-star book. So it's a great short story collection and I recommend it, but I wouldn't hand it to you going, this is a 5-star story collection. You're going to love everything about it. Because what I love about this book is very personal. It's set in my area. There's stories set in my hometown. So I love that local color. But what I really love about this is this handles the different relationships, especially friendships, so well. But it's a really hard book to find, especially if you don't live in the Pacific Northwest. Although you can order it. You can order it through Bookshop or whatever. It's just you're probably not going to find it on the shelves. It is in print. So I would recommend, if you like short story collections and you want to read something by an Indigenous author, Beth Piatote is Nez Perce. So, and then I finally finished Mrs. Mohr Goes Missing by, I'm going to try it, Maryla Szymiczkowa. It's translated from the Polish. So I'm glad I read it, I guess. It fulfilled, I can now say I read a book from Poland, translated from the Polish, and it fills one of the countries on the 2024 Storygraph Reads the World. I will say, though, I didn't love it. I liked the narration. The narration was really good because I did audio. But the story was, first, my biggest problem was I just did not like the main character. Did not like her. She was just a busybody, bored, upper-class housewife, and I'm like, I am done with this. I don't care. And I felt that the story got overly twisty at times, but that may have been because I would find myself disengaging from it because I didn't like the main character. So it wasn't a successful book for me. I think I kind of kept reading it because I just wanted to get that challenge done, which is fine. I gave it a C. It's, by the way, 5-star, A+. The only reason why this was not a 5-star is because there is one essay in there that did kind of lose me. Not lose me like I didn't agree with it, but like lose me like I had trouble following the thread. Otherwise, A+ book. But yeah, so now I've read it. We're good. I can move on to something else. I am not currently doing an audiobook only because I was trying to keep my Libro credit in my listening free in case I needed to do my last BookTube prize book on audio. So now, as for what I'm currently reading, I have, I think, 10 books going. And then some of those are ones like the short story collections that I talk about when I start and then when I finish. And Les Miserables, I start and when I finish. And then there's the BookTube prize. So I can only tell you about one book I'm reading right now. And that is on my e-reader. And I'm reading Northwoods by Daniel Mason. So everyone's been talking about this, and they've been talking about this in the same sort of breath as The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store, which I read and liked. And I haven't finished this book yet, so I'm not going to pass judgment on it other than to say I'm really enjoying it so far. One complaint that I have heard of it from some people is that it wasn't what they expected, which I can totally see. But I kind of figured something about this book out for me, and I haven't heard anybody else say it. So tell me if you've read it and if you've read this other author, if I'm off base. This book feels like an Alice Hoffman book, which I love Alice Hoffman, so that's great. But I didn't expect that. And that, that's a good thing. But it's just interesting. I think that's why I sunk into it so easily, is because it is really feels like something that Alice Hoffman would write. And the language is very reminiscent of, I shouldn't say reminiscent of her language. It's similar to her language. So, but I'm actually planning, I can tell now that I'm going to do a whole review of this that will be out next Thursday. I don't have that much more to go to finish it, so I should finish it soon. But there you go. That's my reading. And that's probably the shortest weekly update I've ever done. You can thank the BookTube prize because I can't talk about those books. I do have a vlog I'm working on. So once the octafinal results of video comes out, I will release that vlog that I'm doing, and then you can see all my thoughts on it. So anyway, I am going to leave you now because I want to go and film my February wrap up, which will be next Tuesday. And then I want to eat some lunch because I'm starting to get hungry. Anyway, thank you very much. Like, subscribe. Feel free to join my Discord. It's a great place to have conversations, a little easier to go back and forth than in the comments. And thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.